let us begin. Holla Brawlers! And a brofist to you all! Like a fucking sir. That is a sir right there. That is a sir. This is cool. This is a sir. That's what that is. That's a sir. Brofist to all of you. Oh, I can't wait till June if PreachCon comes up. I want you guys there. I want to touch every single one of you individually. I want to just be like bro-mania going on all up in my business. I had a really, really weird day, which proves how sometimes I really screw my head up. I discovered today that it is not December. And I say that without being a lying bastard. I discovered this morning, around about 7 AM, that it is not, I repeat, it is not December. It is not December. I was almost in a blind panic over the last week or so, and Ghost can attest to this, because I believed I had 3 weeks to produce The Way of the Warrior 2. I was utterly convinced of this fact. I don't know why. I convinced myself so hard that I had 3 weeks to do The Way of the Warrior 2 that I was in a blind terror. I was absolutely terrified because the WoW guides aren't done yet. And it's like, I just don't have the time and I need to get it done in 3 weeks and we've got to film it and I've got to give all this and that and oh my god, I've got to edit it, and I was so panicked. And then my birthday came up. My birthday's in December. And I was like, we need to, we got a web show on the 17th, which means I was doing a web show on my birthday. And Emma said, your birthday is not on a Saturday. I was like, it is. We checked the calendar yesterday and it's on the 17th. She went, do you mean of this month? I'm like, maybe I do mean, what month is it? She's like, it's November. And I'm like, huh. I put 2 and 2 together. I was totally looking at the wrong month. I was so convinced I had just 3 weeks to do it. I was terrified. How stupid is that? I don't think I've ever got the fucking month wrong. I really do not, but I did. This is the first time ever I've got the month wrong. I was obliviously fail to this comment. I got lots to talk about because I've had a newfound sort of relaxation. Firstly, why do I wear a hat for a lot of the dailies recently? I haven't cut my hair in forever. I look like Butters from South Park. I genuinely do. It looks retarded. It looks absolutely ridiculous. There's hair growing in all the wrong places. I just haven't had it cut. It's as simple as that. So today I was feeling a little bit relaxed. I did 2 videos which should be either releasing now or in the next 20 minutes. They're already uploaded. One of them is the BM Hunter gameplay video, which of course you guys were waiting for. The other one is something that people keep asking me for, like all the time. And it's not really something I wanted to do because I'm no expert on the subject. It's not like, wow, I didn't pick this thing up and I could just play it. Not like a piano or something like that. I couldn't do that. But it's essentially, I do a lot of funky intros because the content of my guides is essentially the same for all of them. There's obviously minor differences, such as a different class and spec. But ultimately the layout, the format is always pretty much the same. It makes it concise. It makes it easy to skip through and click your annotations and go straight to the next section and so on and so forth. But people are asking, how do you do them little intros? Because they take a lot more work. They take probably 6 or 7 times more work than the actual video. So I decided to put together a little tutorial on how I do those things. And it's like 30 minutes long, but it's about as short as I could make it. But it's, hopefully you guys who are asking for that stuff, it helps you out. I hope it helps you out. You are starting your own YouTube channels and you're looking to do little things and you're not really sure how to get into making some little edits and stuff like that. So I put that together for you. Enjoy. Should be a lot of fun. I hope you really like it. So as I was relaxed today, I've done my videos. I have edited together all the other Hunter videos, which are coming out tomorrow, and I'm filming the Monk tomorrow. But I'd managed to finish this stuff by about 12 PM today. I worked kind of late last night, and I was like, I really need to start gearing my warrior. I really need to start gearing up for the Way of the Warrior 2, because I need to be doing Arena really soon and get a decent rating, which means I need to do some PvP. And I haven't done any PvP in Mr. Pandaria. I know everybody's abilities, I just need to know how to actually get into the gameplay of it. And plus I have like 0 resilience. Well, PvP resilience, very important that you remember that distinction. So I decided, I'll start doing the BGs. And I live streamed it, so people were tuning in and seeing my noobishness. I was like, What is this BG? There's like 2 new Battlegrounds. I had no idea. I'm so clueless. I tried to get into them previously, but then I had to leave and do something else. And like, I tried them out today. They were kind of okay, I guess. There's a problem with BGs, isn't there? And that was kind of the main focus of today before we review yesterday's topic, was that BGs are like the land that time forgot. There has been no evolution in the Battleground area since Battlegrounds came into the game. They still play exactly the same as they did in vanilla. That is really scary, that entire population of people has never evolved. Ever. It's like constant stagnation. It's like being in a swamp of people who just absolutely baffle my brain. The same problems people faced in vanilla, they still face today. People not doing objectives. People camping some rather weird place. We did Arathi Basin. Everybody was fighting on the ramps in between flags. Why would you do that? There's no point in being there. After you win, you have to run all the way back to the flag and people respawn. Why would you do that? But you can see people doing that. In Arathi Basin again, we had a little crew. We brought along some subscribers. I think we had the Hunter squad, Team Hunter. So a big shout out to Team Hunter. It was me on my warrior, Genji on his priest, and 3 subscriber hunters, which was awesome because they were all BM. Which were kicking serious ass. It was hilarious. But wherever we went, more people followed. So we could not keep a base until we went on defense and just camped one base. And the other hunters went off and did something else. And me, Genji, and one of the hunters just stuck around. And we never lost that base. But of course, you could just watch everyone circling the map. And this happened when AB came into the game. The same thing. It's just people circling around the map. Just like, oh, I've got this base. Let's go to the next base. Let's go to this base. And behind them, everybody's taking it back. And they're all just rotating around it's like a whirlpool almost. It's crazy to watch these guys. I can watch the map and I can see them just spinning around like they're in a sink. Like they're just about to drown and they don't know what's going on, and no matter what they do, it just seems to be we never get any further into the game. Whereas us 3 who stayed on one base and were bored to fucking tears collected every fucking point out of that base that we could possibly get for the whole game. My God, it was so weird just to watch these same things going on. I can't understand how that hasn't evolved. PvE has evolved. Arena raids have evolved somewhat. I'm not saying it's been an immense evolution at the lowest possible level. It hasn't been. But it has evolved somewhat. The mechanics of bosses now are far different than what they were in vanilla. If we had vanilla LFR, can you fucking imagine what Molten Core would look like if it was done in LFR? Oh my God. I cannot possibly fathom how those bosses would possibly be toned down for LFR. That would be insane. That entire prospect just boggles my mind completely. Shanox would probably just stand still. Do you know what I mean? Gehennas would probably just suicide. You'd engage him, he would just pull out a rope and just hang himself. Gar with his 8 ads, oh my God, can you imagine? He would probably have 4 ads or 2 ads or something for LFR. It'd be something really bizarre like that. So that aspect of the game has evolved. I'm not saying that all the players have evolved along with it, but they are forced to deal with newer mechanics. Even LFR has more mechanics than Molten Core. BGs just have never evolved. They're so stuck in a time warp, it's really weird to watch. I wish I had done a Warsong Gulch. I guarantee the same thing, with like one person trying to get the flag constantly and everyone else is fighting in the middle. And they've got that new mechanic, haven't they, where if the last person to score can win the game. And so they all just camp on D, which is everything that they used to do. It's so weird. And also, the best thing ever is when you are on a base that is actually not going to be lost. Like the base we were defending, which was Stables. We were defending Stables. By the time we got there and just seeing every boss just circling around, we're like, well, stay here, it's fine. So we were on Stables, not going anywhere. More people gravitate towards the safe base. You just realize, like, suddenly you'll be stood there, right? So you're at Stables, you've got Stables, everything's cool. And you're waiting for maybe someone, a rogue or someone to come back. We had a bot, actually. There's still a lot of botting in the BGs, which is to be expected. We had a bot Warlock that we were playing with. The guys on the live stream watched that, who literally would immolate people and then chain cast Incinerate. And if he went below 50%, would cast Drain Life. So we were trying to get him to cast Chaos Ball so I could reflect it. I was just interested in that. But we had this bot. If you attacked him, he just got off his mount, he stood there and did this thing. But you'll be stood there, and you're on D, and you're chatting away on Skype or whatever, and you're okay. You're bored. You want to go and kill people. This is a battleground, right? But you're on D and you defend. And suddenly there's this guy who like, I don't know if I can do it on here, but let's say like a sir is me and this guy's Genji, right? So suddenly you're on D and then all you see is and just some guy fucking appears out of nowhere and he just stands there. And he's helping on D. And you don't know who he is. You don't know why he's there. The base is completely safe. There's like 2 or 3 people defending it. And he just sidles in. And he stands there and he's like, I'm helping. I'm helping the best way possible. He just strolls into the fucking arena and he stands there next to you and he's just totally baffling me. I'm like, why are you here? It was defended before. Why have you just arrived now to try and... Are you helping? Is this your job? Is this what you decided to do? And then suddenly another one appears from the other direction. And suddenly you've got like 6 people who are just stood around the flag. And they're all sort of staring at each other. Because the Alliance controls the 4 other bases. They don't need to go anywhere. They're like, look at all those guys just camping stables. What are the other side thinking when that happens? It's like the only base we know we can't take is stables. But now all their team is at stables. We own 4 bases. And then, of course, the hero, who's usually a rogue, strolls on over to fucking Lumbermill or something like that and tries to take it. Oh, my God. Just watching this happen is like a comedy series to me. I kind of wish I should do a parody video of Battleground things. I might have to run that by Ghost at some point. See if we can work that in with some ballers and just set up a parody video about the thoughts that are going on in BGs. This idea is developing in my head. I think it could be kind of funny because I notice these things and I'm like, this whole thing is hilarious. Like this guy he's just following us around and then he tags on. He's not going anywhere, which is really hilarious to me. The new BGs, yeah, they were kind of cool. I don't like the minecart one. The minecart one seems kind of shitty. It's okay. I get the idea that they want to mix it up a bit. They still haven't removed Strand of the Ancients. Strand of the Ancients was really stupid because we had a minuscule organized team. By that I mean like we had me and Genji on Skype and 3 hunters who were watching the stream. That was it. We had to wait is it 8 minutes or 10 minutes or something for the Alliance to lose, and then both times we did that BG we won in the next minute and a half. It seemed like the biggest time waste in fucking history. I literally got the achievement for driving the Demolisher all the way to the fucking relic and clicking it. And I did it again in the next time we got into Strand of the Ancients. We spawned. I was like, I'm melee, I'll get in here, hunters kill everybody else. And that's it, the 3 hunters just BM'd the shit out of everybody else who was camping us, and we just walked straight up to the relic and took it. But of course, because we're Horde, we spawned there second. And have to wait while the Alliance loses, so we're just stood in the forecourt, just killing everybody. That entire PG scenario is so weird. And people are asking me, are you enjoying PvP on your warrior? This really is not PvP. I don't know what this is. It feels like I'm just PvEing people. Really? It just feels like that. I'm not PvPing with these guys. I'm really not. In my terrible gear. But I got 3 or 4 piece in the first afternoon after doing like 10 BGs or something. Which was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. So gearing isn't too difficult, I wouldn't have thought. And then it's just conquest points. Another grind to stick on top of things. So that's pretty cool. Yesterday, I'm going to keep this one to about 30 minutes. As it's got very dark and I haven't had a chance to walk Ben. Oh, for those of you interested, Ben is kind of fine. He's been very quiet today. He did get quite savagely attacked, apparently. He was pinned to the floor by his throat by this other dog, and the owner was punching the other dog in the head. And then she came out with this quality line, which is just amazing, is he normally just does that to men. I find that really disturbing, and I'm quite glad I wasn't there. I probably would have killed that dog. But yeah, Ben was quite savagely attacked. He was okay though. He's just a bit quiet today. So we're going to take him for a walk after this, but it's really dark. So that's why. Yesterday we spoke about LFR. And I need to start being a little bit more careful about what I say in my dailies. Because quite frankly, somebody who watches the daily is instantly going to the WoW forums and posting my responses. Because MMO Champion today has got responses to not everything, but a lot of the things that I said yesterday about their response to LFR. Which I found a little bit creepy, is that Blizzard was responding to things that I said in my daily. That's a little bit weird. I'm not saying it's definitely the case, but it was definitely very weird. But a lot of you pointed out is, the people who follow my channel are fully aware of what LFR is. Oh, awesome. That is really good. All of you were like, yeah, I use LFR as a punching bag. I literally go in there to test rotations, test my DPS, test my healing. I don't think of it in any other way. One interesting comment that caught my eye is usually I am very much against you don't have to do this from Blizzard. You don't have to do it, like the dailies. I totally agree with that with LFR. Besides the people I mentioned, like the very cutting edge guilds, you do need to do LFR. Quite frankly, you should do LFR. You should. If you don't have higher item level than what drops in LFR, you should do LFR, and you should stop fucking whining about it, because you can get upgrades. If you're in a guild, you should do it as a guild. You should. It takes you hardly any time whatsoever, and it gets you more gear. Simple as. But you don't have to do it. If you're in a guild that really, really needs the gear from LFR for nothing other than minor upgrades, like the top guilds do, then you don't really have to do it. You don't. I stand by what I said yesterday. You don't have to do it. It's not going to help you as much as you think it will, compared to being a better player and working on your coordination. The reason a lot of bosses don't die is nothing to do with gear. It's because you're doing something wrong. I see a lot of guilds complain when they've got 3 or 4 people dead at the end of the fight and they wipe to the enrage and then they say we need more gear. No, you need to not let 3 or 4 people die, or even 2 people die, or even 1 person die. Why did that person die? That's your problem. Nothing to do with gear. Somebody died. Why did that happen? Or somebody did ridiculously low damage. That's nothing to do with gear. There's some good comments on the YouTube video, actually. I do read them. Regarding like a fully geared warlock in one of the guilds who's constantly out DPS'd by everybody who has far less gear than him. Gear doesn't mean a great deal if you don't know how to use it. I could buy the best fucking multi-action workbench. No, let's make it easier. A stroller, a pram, a kid's pram. I could buy the best one on the market. I can't fucking work out a pram or a stroller to save my fucking life. I'm serious. If anybody asked me to fold that thing up and put it in a car, I am completely lost. I just don't know what the fuck you're doing. I could learn how to do it just as anybody could learn how to play a class properly. But having the best one don't make much of a difference because I can't even work the basic one. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. It would just be a complete waste of my life to try and do that. And I would not be under the impression it's like, I need a better stroller because I can't work this one out. No. No, that is just not the fucking case. So that is not it whatsoever. But I wanted to touch on briefly, there was a couple of gaming news things that were out today. Again, it's a lot of DLC is coming. Halo 4 is out. That is essentially what all people are talking about. Never been a great fan of Halo 4, gotta say. Well, not Halo 4, the Halo franchise. I kind of get the story. Ghost has explained it to me. He's quite a big fan of the Halo series. So I played the first one. I didn't like it. But I played it on a console, and that was when consoles were miles behind the graphical power of a PC. It just looked like shit. And it was one of those games that you can't get away with it looking like shit. Do you know what I mean? Like Minecraft can get away with looking like shit because of the style of game. The actual style of the game and the graphical quality makes sense for what you're doing in Minecraft and other games. When it's a first-person shooter, graphics kind of matter. If it looks like crap, I don't like it. If it's, you know, it's just a bit pixely and grotty, I was beyond that by the time I played Halo 1. And I just didn't enjoy it. And it also felt very simple. I don't know if you guys get this. If you're very into your online FPS, especially if you're a PC player, which I assume most of you are, and you've been playing competitive FPS for a while. I was very, very high up in the rankings for Quake 2 and Quake 3 Arena. I was really good at Quake 3 Arena. Playing something on a console just feels retarded. It feels retarded. And anytime I get an FPS game with a story mode, it needs to be a good story. Because after playing competitive online FPS for a long time, killing the mobs isn't exactly an issue. That's not part of my gaming. I don't play to actually kill things because I don't have a problem with that. I don't have any issue at all killing a mob in an FPS game. Let's face facts. If you can deal with players who are actually thinking and are decent, you don't have any issue killing the mobs. It needs to have a good story. And I couldn't get into the story of Halo 4, and I also couldn't, Halo, and I couldn't get into playing on a console because it made killing the mobs more awkward and fiddly. I used to be a big console player, don't get me wrong. I actually quite want to buy a GameCube. If any of you have a GameCube for sale, especially if it's got Super Mario Sunshine, let me know. I kind of want to buy one. I miss my GameCube a lot. I loved my GameCube and my N64. Was the first person in his whole high school to get invincibility on GoldenEye. Just gonna put that out there, okay? I had to bring people to my home to prove it. I was that guy who completed facility under the time before anybody else. And nobody believed me. They had to come to my house and show them. Tip of the cap to the Brawler. Kicked some serious ass at GoldenEye. I was the king. And I never played Oddjob. That's damn sure. So yeah, not much gaming news other than Resident Evil 6 didn't sell very well. I haven't tried Resident Evil 6. It came out at the same time as Mr. Pandaria. In fact, it was the game that a lot of you said, hey, Resident Evil's coming out at the same time as Mr. Pandaria. And it's not sold very well at all. Most companies were pretty smart and leave World of Warcraft. If you're going to release a major AAA title, probably leave it for a little while after World of Warcraft comes out. It's 11 million people playing it. It's kind of worthwhile not expecting people to buy your game as soon as Mr. Pandaria comes out, regardless if it's on console or not. You're going to lose sales in the PC market. That is going to happen. That is just a damn fact. So yeah, Capcom's announced that Resident Evil 6 hasn't sold very well. That's about it. Other than that, there was some. I'm just looking now. More fucking DLC. Boring. GTA 5 trailer was delayed because of Hurricane Sandy. That's like the big news. Is GTA 5's second trailer was delayed because of Hurricane Sandy. A lot more worse things happened during Hurricane Sandy than GTA 5 being delayed, in my opinion. That's just my facts on it. So I wanted to again touch very briefly on Blizzard was kind of reacting to a lot of the comments that came out yesterday. One of the big things that's come out today is that the Brawlers Guild, this is where you can enter an arena and you can challenge bosses solo. They wanted it to be a spectated thing, in which case it is not instance. There is no instance version of it. It happens live and people can watch. That aspect is cool. The aspect that is not cool is that in order to get into the Brawlers Guild, you're going to have to buy a pass from the black market auction house. It's going to be pretty expensive. I think some prices that MMO Champion posted were 10,000 gold, 33,000 gold, so on and so forth. Not super cheap, but not super expensive either. But you can then apparently give invitations to other people, which is pretty cool, I guess. Well, the idea is they want to ramp up how many people will go into the arena. Obviously, if everybody at the server can do it on the first day, everybody will be there. And they're only allowing one person in at a time for their go, and everyone else has to watch. That is not going to be ideal very quickly, and I assume it will be changed at some point. Either that or they're not predicting it to be very popular. There is going to be nothing good after a few weeks where a couple of thousand or even a couple of hundred people have access to the Brawlers Guild on your realm, and you're going to have to wait in line, especially for heavy populated realms like Sylvanas, for instance. You're going to have to wait a long ass time for your go after you get your invite to actually be able to do it. So they're hoping they're going to put some passes on the black market auction house. Somebody will buy that, and then they'll pass that to their friends, and then hopefully it will bleed through. There's a little risk here, depending on how often this appears on the black market auction house, that someone from some major guild will get it, and then only give it to the members of their guild, and not give it to anyone else. Just got to watch out for that. I think overall, this non-instance version of it is a little bit risky, considering exactly how many people are on some of the realms. There's thousands of people on some of the realms, and if that thing spreads like wildfire, which it could do, then you're going to be waiting a long time to have a go. Especially if you fail, you want to have another go, you're going to have to wait at the back of the queue again in order to get to do this. I like that it's spectated. It would probably be cool if there was 4 or 5 arenas. I could picture sort of 4 or 5 bowls with walkways across the top intersecting them all, so people could just switch and watch what's going on in different ones. That would be pretty cool, I think. Something along those lines, just to get multiple people doing it at the same time. Nobody wants to log in and wait in a queue for a very, very long time. It's already bad enough with the looking for dungeon queues. So we'll see how it plays out. I'm not going to put a black mark on this yet. It's something I want to try as well. But I just want to wait and see how it plays out after a few weeks. I can imagine not many people. There'll be a lot of spectators and not many people doing it in the first week. And then as more and more people get the pass, there's going to be a lot of spams for passes as well, which is a little bit ropey, We're going to start seeing the Heroic Heart of Fear on Wednesday. Kind of looking forward to see who wins that. Method took it last time. I'm not including 10 man. It was just retarded. If you actually watched Paragon's kill of that, it was so cheesy. That just stacking massive multi-dollars. Good luck doing that in a 25 man. So I'm kind of waiting to see if Method holds up. I hope they do. Good luck to them. I really hope they do. Or maybe Blood Legion will get that chance that they've been after for. I did want to respond to some of the things Blizzard said and responded to. I'm going to ignore the stuff. All right, I'll talk about it there. I'm not going to say what I'm going to ignore particularly. dailies. Blizzard's still being really defensive about the dailies. How long are they going to do this before accepting that people are massively unhappy with the dailies? They seem to be overly sticking to their guns, which is really not in the Blizzard style of doing things, especially over the last few years. If things have been massively hated, they tend to have changed them pretty quickly. But not with the dailies. They are really sticking to it that the dailies are a cool thing and trying to enforce people not to do them all the time. It's very difficult for people to accept that when the ultimate reward is more chances at items. If there was any other reward other than more chances at items, then perhaps people would not feel pressured to do it. But that is the reward. That is the plain and simple fact of it. And that is what people are getting pissy about. Of course, you can obtain more lesser coins than you can elder coins for a week. So you can buy yourself some time off. If you do them pretty regularly, you can buy yourself time away from the dailies. But not by a long time. Not buying a long time. So you will eventually have to go back and keep doing this. Blizzard's response again, which is you don't have to do them. That is true. As a matter of fact point, but if it rewards more gear, how can you tell people in an RPG, which is all about character progression, there is nothing else in WoW that isn't character progression, that you should pass up on character progression? Very, very difficult, and correctly so, for people to accept that. But they're sticking to it. They're being pretty fierce. They said that not every... one of their posts was, it's just that not everybody wants to do dailies. We want the reputation. We even want the lesser coins. We just don't want to do dailies. Can we please have a tabard? They're sticking to it. No, you will not get a tabard. Why not give people the option? I can see the options would be greatly dwindled and ultimately everybody will roll in tabards. That wasn't a bad thing in Cataclysm. It just wasn't. This entire thing that we don't like tabards is... I don't know where that's from. I never heard anybody complain about having tabards on while they geared their character and did their 5-mans. I really do not recall anybody complaining about that whatsoever. But they seemed pretty convinced that it was a bad thing. I can only see the bad thing about it was that not many people went out into the world. Pandaria isn't that big a place. There isn't that much to see. In fact, Vale of the Eternal Blossoms is extremely sparse. If it wasn't for those dailies, nobody would go there because there's nothing much in it. It reminds me very much of old Ashara. If you remember Ashara before it was revamped, Vale of the Eternal Blossoms very much reminds me of that. The Dreadwastes, there isn't that much there. Really, there's a few quest hubs where there's something going on. But that's about it. There's a lot of open land in these areas. Kunlai Summit is the same. The entire central area of Kunlai Summit is completely void of anything, of landmarks whatsoever. It's all around the edge. The central mass of it is nothing much whatsoever. I would say Jade Forest and the Karasrang. I'm always getting the name wrong. It's Karasang or Krasang Woods. They've got some good stuff in it, but then you look at the other areas and there isn't a great deal there. So I wouldn't be forcing people out into Pandaria because there isn't just that much there. In fact, we just find the dailies there. That's the only negative point I can think of from the tabards is less people went out into the world. Which is, oh, I get that. Okay, I accept that. But was that too bad a thing? Now we just have less people in dungeons. Even as a tank sometimes I'm waiting for a dungeon now because people get heroic geared very, very quickly, thereby nullifying the heroic 5-mans. And so there's just less people queuing for them because they're too busy doing their dailies, which they don't want to do. There's a very vicious circle coming up here now of this. I want to maybe do 5-mans, but I kind of have to do my dailies, although I don't want to do my dailies. There's no synergy going on there, and I like synergy. I like it when it works well together. A nice contributory system. Maybe at Honoured we could get a tabard. The tabard system was brilliant when it came in. I loved it. I thought it was fantastic. I really did. I thought it was a brilliant thing. And I never once complained about it or heard anybody else complain about it. So I find that kind of interesting. They then respond to comments such as, one of the Blues made out like he didn't want to do dailies, which was totally wrong. It was out of context. But he said, if I don't want to do dailies one day, I won't do them. which is okay from a business standpoint to tell people you don't have to do them every day. But you miss out, and this is the player feedback, is if I don't do them, I feel like I've missed out, because this might be a chance at a gear that I need in the future. Therefore, I've missed out on an opportunity. And Blizzard responds saying, well, if you feel that way, then you should do the dailies. But I don't really want to do dailies every day. The daily thing is just really annoying. Can we lower the cap? Can we do something? Something. Let's make it pure reputation after a point. Perhaps if I do dailies 2 to 3 times a week, I've capped my lesser coins. A simple thing to do would be to cap the amount of lesser coins. Very, very easy. Let's cap the amount, and I can do that in 2 or 3 days. Job done. Then if I want to do the dailies, it's purely for reputation. That's it. That would be a nice solution. Very easy. We can cap out the lesser coins. Anything else you need is purely for reputation, which you may or may not want for various reasons. I think that's pretty cool. The player base is saying they feel the dailies are overwhelming. I totally agree. Ghost would agree with that. He feels they're very overwhelming. It made him give the game a break for a week or so. Although Ghost is back already, hooked on the crack. And they say, just don't do them. It's just not one of those things. It's a very stark contrast to LFR, where we said you don't have to do it. Dailies aren't fitting into there. There is too much benefit from doing dailies to say you don't really have to do them. Even people who just do LFR get a benefit from doing dailies. Everybody from the heroic raid guilds right down to the worst of the worst single players in the game gets a benefit from doing dailies. That's the problem. There's a benefit for absolutely everybody. And being daily is a bit of a pain in the ass. It's a bit of a pain in the ass. The final thing I want to touch on, I'm just overrunning slightly. I will do questions and stuff tomorrow. Is the LFR feedback, basically from what I said yesterday. Let's say everybody in my raid team makes a choice to do LFR, because better gear obviously helps progression, like we said yesterday, is the guild decides to do LFR. I choose not to do LFR. I just want to point out this argument is completely null and void. If your guild is doing LFR and you are in a raiding guild and you are a raider and your guild is doing some raid, you go along. That's part of being in a raiding guild. Don't be a selfish prick who's like, well, I'm not going. Nah, I'm not going. Out of pure spite, a guild LFR takes no time whatsoever. And he says, I don't want to do it. Can you honestly say with a straight face to me that I am not holding my team's progress back? That's right, you can. It's a circular argument. You could say with a straight face that yes, you are, because that is the only answer. Yes, you are holding back your raid's progression. But if you're also so selfish and hung up on it, perhaps raiding isn't for you. If you're in a raid guild and you can't handle a 20-minute LFR every week, then you've got bigger problems than whether or not you want to do LFR, in my opinion. So it's a stupid question. We aren't supposed to, but many of the players do. It's a bad design, in my opinion. I was hoping to see it rectified in early mode. All players are supposed to be able to clear normal in a week before LFR is released? Question mark. They were questioning, did this really happen? It makes you wonder why a lot of the player base actually understands what's going on in the game sometimes. Most of them don't. That is evident from the posts we're getting now. Are you really expecting a lot of guilds to clear normal mode before LFR? Newsflash, there was a time when LFR didn't exist. Just going to put that out there. Just going to put that out there. There was a time when LFR didn't exist, and yes, bosses died. Pretty bizarre, I know, but not everything was hung up on LFR. And it goes on to be a sort of rather slapdash, hollow argument regarding LFR. But people trying to bring up concise points, but often in the WoW forums, concise and logical points are left behind and lost in favour of Blizzard choosing the more obtuse and antagonistic posts to make their point more clear. I'd be very wary recently, to sort of sum this up before I end today's daily, is I would be very wary about what you're reading in terms of Blizzard responses at the moment. I would think they are purposely trying to pick out the most stupid antagonistic posts they can to reply to, which makes things look stupid. He's ready. Okay. Be very, very careful of what you're reading. They very much are cherry picking, more so than they used to, posts which are just flat out dumb from players, and then they're getting those things because they know that things like MMO Champion find blue posts to put up on their website as content, and it makes the people asking them look stupid. Although buried within all these threads, I've read through these threads, are very, very good logical points, and they're being ignored in favor of people who are making stupid circular points. So just be a little bit wary of that. If I see anything I think is particularly obnoxious, I will let you know. But the replies are getting a little bit obnoxious. We said yesterday we do like this "you being stupid" point, but now near enough every reply is based on some stupid comment from some player, which I really don't like. Everyone wants to see Ben. Come here. Good boy.
Right, I'll make him flash.
Mm.
Come here.
He's got a better coat than me. Alright guys, so as you can see, Benny's okay, except he wants to sleep on my lap. I will see you again tomorrow. I bought Emma that hat. Okay, take it easy guys, I will see you tomorrow. Cyber!